Cannabis Broadcasting Group here at cbgtv.com. Individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Hi, I'm Timmy.
And I'm Mary Jane. He's the newbie.
She's the doobie, and this is the show
where we
tote
cannabis
talk
from both sides.
Is that even possible?
This podcast is for adults only, should not be used as a meal replacement, and may contain nuts.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Noobie and the Doobie. I am Timmy, the newbie.
Mary Jane, also known as the doobie.
Today is Umbrella Cover Day. An interesting day to be sure, and we'll talk about more about that later.
Absolutely. I thought we were celebrating umbrellas, but
no,
apparently not.
It's the covers of the umbrellas.
Yes. And we'll get into that later.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Right?
Learning every day.
There's a whole thing on there. Also today we've got our high five list.
High five.
High five.
And of course our word of the week.
And we're going to be playing a little newbie or doobie.
With our special guest, Stephen Stairs.
Looking forward to another great episode. This has been fun. We are on episode 12 right now. 12
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I've lost track.
I haven't. It's
I'm
12.
glad somebody's keeping track.
Literally is 12. And just for the record, I am hearing a lot through my headphones right now, so I am trying to remove that. But anyways, so here's the thing. We wanted to talk about, before we get into some cannabis-related conversations, as we are wont to do, we go down other little rabbit trails that we find interesting.
Yes.
And it was very difficult to ignore the fact that this was Umbrella Cover Day. And like you had pointed out, initially when we looked at it, we're like, well, umbrellas, okay. And then we noticed that there is actually a thing, that there are people out there that are pretty passionate about not the umbrella, but the umbrella cover.
Yeah, the thing that most people lose.
Right?
Like, I have an umbrella collection. Like, when I like something, I get into it. And I happen to have a lot of umbrellas, and when I heard Umbrella Cover Day, I was like, yay, I get to bring the umbrellas out, and I realized that I don't have the umbrella cover for like half of my umbrellas.
Right.
And I also realized that the umbrella cover is only on the smaller umbrellas.
Okay.
And not the large, like the fighting style umbrellas.
The umbrella cover to me is the thing that if I ever bought an umbrella, and I'm going to admit right now, I'm in the minority here. I don't buy umbrellas.
So you're saying that your two umbrellas here you didn't purchase?
They were gifted to me.
Okay.
People gave them to me because they have connections to things that I enjoy in life. But if it's raining, I go walk in the rain. That's
true.
There has never been a time that I have walked outside and felt that it was raining too hard that I needed an umbrella. I put my hood up maybe and go. At the very least, I take my pants off and just enjoy the afternoon. But there is
singing in the rain.
So umbrellas to me are I don't really utilize them in general, but I do have two that I enjoy.
See, I think they're an accessory.
Well, they're
a very like people miss it. They don't think about it. But if it's rainy day, you're not going to want to have an umbrella that doesn't go with your outfit.
But is a cover? So then that means that the umbrella cover is an accessory to an accessory.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, I never thought of that.
So here's where I think the market is leading. Then I think what we need to do is to create a protective cover for your umbrella cover.
No. You know what we need to do? Create an attachment piece.
I got caught up in your hair.
Is it?
It's just the way their light reflected off of it. You look like Morticia Addams from the Addams
Is it better
Family.
that way?
No, it looked pretty hot before. Anyways.
Okay.
There we go. Anyways, sorry.
So we need to, when kids used to lose their gloves all the time?
Yeah.
And we would put that little clip thing?
Yeah, we attach it to their...
We need to make one of those
Right.
to attach to the umbrella.
Yeah, see, if I was using one of these umbrellas, if it was raining and I was using one of these umbrellas, the first thing I would get rid of and throw in the garbage would probably be the umbrella cover, because it's just stopping me from utilizing my umbrella.
Well, honestly, I feel they're impractical because I can tell that this one's been used by the way that it's been shoved back into the cover. Yeah. And this is the problem, that when you take it out of the umbrella cover and open up the umbrella, it's darn near impossible to get it. It's like a sleeping bag. How you roll them up and get them in the cover is beyond me.
It's near impossible. An necessary element.
But how could you not love umbrellas?
Okay, so let's look. Let's just look right here. So, you got a cannabis one?
I got a cannabis one,
okay,
which I got from Nova Scotia.
With a nice cover.
Yes, with a nice cover,
Okay.
which now I'm realizing I probably won't be able to get
don't put the
back
cover
in.
back on. Yeah, don't worry about putting it back in. And what's this one here?
That is my latest edition. Oh, you took it out. Okay.
You didn't want it out?
No, it's fine. It's fine. It has to come out eventually. I get it.
Okay, excellent. High five. All right.
That deserves a 5. Let's do.
So then I have my Batman one. Now, the once again gifted, but a beautiful gift.
That one was from me.
It's a fantastic.
And I'm not
one.
ashamed to admit that I found that at the Dollarama.
They're selling Batman for $1.
$4.
$4. Remember when Dollarama actually meant dollar?
Buck or two.
Yeah.
They're not buck
like
or two
$17
anymore.
items in there.
Yeah, it's sad.
That's a
Dollar
weird.
Tree. That's where everything was like $1.25.
Yeah,
and now they're starting to go. Well, there's always trees, isn't there?
That's very true. And this one doesn't have a cover.
No, it doesn't. And that is so. All my umbrellas are special to me in one way or another. Just like my buttons and my onesies and my rocks that I collect.
Yep.
This umbrella here is special because it changes color when it gets wet.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so when it actually
we could
gets
pour
wet.
water on it?
We could.
We can't.
We could.
We can't. But this one doesn't have a cover, but it has like a wrap.
They all do.
Oh, they all have wraps. Never
But this
mind.
one's more noticeable.
Wasn't impressed with that.
And then, of course, your
have,
other one.
We have the Avengers. We have my Avengers one.
Oh.
Oh.
Because it was crammed in
that
there.
That one hasn't been packed very nicely. Okay.
And then, of course, the one that I take out once a year, just in case, my Canada one.
Nice. All right. So they say that you should never open an umbrella inside the house.
They also say breaking a mirror is worth 7 years of bad luck. And if that were the case, then I would have a lifetime of bad luck. And I'm one of the luckiest people around.
You are. How many umbrellas do you think we can open up in here?
I don't know. You should set it up there.
Oh, where?
Here.
I'll put that. Okay, there's one. I don't even know where this one is.
No, that won't work. Here, I'll hold. How many can you get?
Bam. Yeah, the Avengers.
Okay.
Okay. What's this
They
one?
should go buy Batman.
Yeah, and then there's this one. Oh, I like the. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Bam. Okay. There's that one.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, we're at 3. Count it down with us. How many umbrellas have you opened up in a small space? When people say, "What do you do on your podcasts?" We do stuff like this. 4. Yeah.
I can't hold anymore.
Yeah. Let's do it.
You're gonna have to hold them.
5. Finally, we have the cannabis.
Canada.
Right
yeah.
beside the Canada one.
Nice. Can you do it?
No. Jeez.
You didn't open it. It has the wrap.
Oh,
remember?
it has the wrap's very, very well done. It holds it in place.
Well, that's good to know. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen,
6.
6 umbrellas is the new record in the podcast world. We'd like to challenge other podcasters to open more than 6 in their small studios.
I'm losing it.
We've done it.
Okay.
All right, so let's just put these down here for now, in case it rains.
Here, you take this one.
I'll take this one.
Ooh, I'm dropping them.
So, on my high five list...
Okay, they're going down.
On my high five list, it's connected to this whole umbrella thing. We're going to do our high five list, a word of the week, and bring in Stephen Stairs, who is...
Whew. I shouldn't have wore a dress for this episode. That was hard work.
Hey, yeah.
All those days of carrying dishes and catching chickens really came in handy.
I barely ever open an umbrella.
Get it? Handy.
Oh, the puns are flying today.
I'm on a roll.
So here's. I was trying to think of what should my high five list be today. Timmy's high five list. I try to connect it to the day.
Yes.
Sometimes I do the day and cannabis. Sometimes I just do cannabis. Today, though, I was thinking about these umbrella things, and for me personally, I'd be like, that's so unnecessary. Like, what is the point of these things? I would toss these things immediately because it would get in the way of. I seriously got to keep putting that back on. It's like, just get rid of that.
Yes.
I'll just open my umbrella.
And now you have 4 to put on.
Now I have 4 to put those on later.
That's so funny.
I thought about, but what is it? What do I have that is unnecessary that I won't get rid of?
Okay.
So Timmy's high five list today is 5 things that I have in my house that I won't how did I rate it? Get rid of?
Yeah, you wouldn't get rid of.
I wouldn't.
But they're useless.
They're unnecessary, but I wouldn't get rid of them.
Okay.
Or I would get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to use the word "un" in there. It doesn't really matter. The point is...
You would keep them.
I'm keeping these things. Okay, so here we go. Number 5 on my list, at the bottom. I have this, and I'm probably not alone in this. Feel free to comment on the YouTube or wherever you see this thing. I have a box about this big of cables. Some of these cables go to my old BlackBerry phones. So these aren't even cables that... in case my toaster breaks, like I'm going to somehow mechanically fix that with some other plug. These are cables that serve no purpose, but for some reason, I keep them because just in case I might need that cable.
So you do know that some of those cables could be extremely rare and worth a lot of money.
You can sell cables?
You can sell anything nowadays.
Really?
Absolutely.
Well, I have a bin, but for some reason, I cannot bring myself to get rid of them. I'm probably not alone.
If you ever want to test somebody's patient, like their patient level, give them a box of tangled wires and let them go to town. Tell them they have to organize it all.
Do you want to organize my cable box?
I actually do really well with wires.
All right. Challenge.
Christmas lights, not so much.
All right. That job is yours, but I'm going to see how much money you have.
I take 30%.
All right, let's make a mint.
Okay.
Number 4 on my list, you might think is an odd one, but it's Ariana Grande posters in my bedroom. Now,
no, I don't think it's odd personally because I've asked you why they're still up there and you kind of just dismissed the conversation.
Look, I'm not going to lie. They're unnecessary. Do I need Ariana Grande posters? Dangerous Woman on my bed in my bedroom wall. I have very few things on my bedroom wall.
But you should have other.
I have 3 things on my wall. I have a Canada flag, I have a picture of you, and I have 3 Ariana Grande posters.
You have a picture of me.
The painting. All right.
It's abstract.
It's abstract for sure.
Cute.
But those are unnecessary, but I still have them, and I'm not getting rid of them. So I'm just saying. But unnecessary. Number 3 on my list of unnecessary things that I get rid of.
Okay.
Is my LED dance party lights surrounding my entire room. Mary Jane over here encouraged me and went out and
encouraged. You mean got them, brought them to your house? It was like we're hanging these in your bedroom.
So now I have the ability, if need be,
we can have a party. To
have a dance party. They flash all different colors all the way around my room. And I can control them at will.
You can set them to music.
Yeah, I can play music with them. I can honestly say that I have used them twice.
That was for videos we did for TikTok.
Once we did a video, and once they turned on by accident because I said...
you said turn on the party light?
I said turn on party lights.
But that was an accident.
Yeah, okay. I didn't mean the party lights. So unnecessary, but I've got them. Number 2 on my list of unnecessary things that I get rid of is VHS tapes, not just DVDs. I have a whole shelf
Okay.
of VHS tapes. Now,
But you have a VCR.
I do have a VCR. I got gifted
See,
a
that
VCR.
would be sad if you didn't have a VCR.
Right? I got gifted a VCR. I'm a stand-up comic. We do a tour called The Circuit. We have a lot of regulars. They know my love for the 80s.
Yep.
And on one tour, one of our fans gave me the VHS copy of Batman 1989.
Yes. The best
Right?
Batman.
The best Batman.
Yes.
So he gave me that. And then I told the story to other shows and I posted it online. And by the time we got to Sarnia area,
Yes.
someone gave me a VCR
VCR.
so I could watch it. But here's the thing, really, if you think about it. When is the next time, even, not saying it's even a bad movie, but when am I going to watch Basket Case again on VHS? I could probably Google it and find it.
Basket Case?
Basket Case? Let me share with you. Sleepaway Camp, have you seen that?
No.
No? Okay, all right.
Have you seen Basketball?
Xanadu?
Have you seen... I know the song.
Oh.
Do you know Basketball?
I do. You have it on VHS?
I don't... VHS wasn't even around when Basketball came out.
Oh, well, see, that's the thing. I have these movies on VHS, but am I going to get rid of them?
Do you have
No.
any of the old Disney movies? Because those would be
Yes.
worth money too.
I actually do have those. Yeah, I have the ones that
We
are
need
in
to
those.
go through your house, Timmy.
I don't even
Sitting
need
on a gold mine.
I don't even need to do this podcast
No more
anymore.
comedy
I'm
for you.
literally a millionaire.
You're out. Let's go.
Yeah, actually, that actually being a millionaire would allow me to do this podcast even more, right? Because I'd have no worries at that point, right? Or you
See,
can go to our-
I'm wondering what makes the number one, because I have a few ideas.
Okay, well, here we go. The number one unnecessary thing in my house that I refuse currently to get rid of is my Google Home. Listen,
That's funny. That's not what I thought it was.
I walk into my bedroom and right here, for those in the podcast, literally like an inch away from my hand is my light switch.
That's
and
like
I could
right
just
where, light switches
I
are
could
when you
just
walk in
switch
the
it
room.
on. Yeah, for those of you who are listening,
Right on the wall.
just think about where your light switch is. I could switch it. But instead, I look over at it and go,
Not today.
Google, turn on bedroom lights.
No, you don't. You walk in your room and you say, "Hey, Google, I'm home."
Okay, that's true. Okay.
And what does it say?
It says, what is it? Wait.
And all the people
Oh,
rejoiced.
that's right. And all the people rejoiced. Okay. Yeah.
And the lights turn on, and let there be light.
And when I go to bed, I say good night, and it says, Timmy, you're awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't set these things up. Yes, I did. So,
Bullshit.
but it's so unnecessary. But I use it every day. And then the worst thing about it is that I say, Google, turn off bedroom lights, and it turns off my bedroom lights. But before it does, it says, okay, and it yells it at the top of its lungs. At least it's in an Australian accent, a female Australian accent, which is the best. And you say, okay, turning off bedroom lights. Just turn off
No,
the
it says
lights.
turning off 2 lights.
Or 2 lights. Yeah, that's right.
As if to say, not just one.
Not just one, it has to do 2, but it says that specifically because it wants me to know that the party lights are still available. Just these 2 lights are going off. These aren't the party lights. Party lights are not the bedroom lights. Those are the party lights.
Yes.
And these are the bedroom lights. Anyways, 5 things. Those are 5 unnecessary things. I'd be interested to know. Please comment below in this YouTube or on the podcast form or on our social media. What is it that you have that is so unnecessary, but you refuse to get rid of it? I'd like to know it.
See,
What did you
I
think was
could-
number 1 on my list?
I thought it was going to be your entire collection of teddy bears. Those
Yeah.
aren't yours, are they?
No, I can't get
Okay,
rid of
you're
them.
gonna
They're
live
not
by
mine.
that.
Someone else's.
So in my house,
Those aren't mine.
in my house, they're Tim's, right? Okay, so in my house, I can only think of one off the top of my head.
Okay.
Can you guess what my one item would be? Do you even dare?
No, I don't. This is a trick, man. This is a trick.
Okay, but at least I'm giving you the option to opt out.
Okay, I'm opting out.
So it would be my rocks.
No, but they have sentimental value.
So yes,
I disagree.
Yes. However, a lot of them I just spent money on, and they're different crystals. They weigh a lot, and to move them when I have to move, I'll have to pack really small boxes, and it's a pain.
This whole truck.
It takes a whole truck, and it takes up a lot of space in my house.
Yeah.
And there's just like, I got vases of rocks, I got shelves of rocks, and yeah, although some of them have sentimental value, just like my buttons, it can get to a point where like you and I have been somewhere, and you've heard me, I'm like, okay, like 2. I tell myself like 2, so I end up like picking up a bunch and leaving with like 2. Yeah. Yeah, right? So
Well, I think there's sentimental value there. Anyways, that is my list, and we'd like to hear from you as well. All right, let's do our word of the week and then bring in our guest, Stephen Stairs.
All right. So our word of the week is tinctures.
Tinctures.
Yes. So basically, a tincture is a liquid form of cannabis. You'll find it with glycerin, alcohol, or an MCT oil. Okay. So it's kind of like an extract, but it's in liquid form.
All right.
So most generally, you'll see it in an eyedropper, and it's administered sublingually.
Subliminally. So you don't know what's happening.
No, under the tongue.
Okay.
And the effects of a tincture are very similar to an edible because it's going through the same system, except it hits you faster because it's meant to be like held in the mouth under the tongue to go directly into the bloodstream, and it's supposed to hit you quicker.
Okay.
Yeah. It's in my opinion the more thought upon as medicinal way of taking your medicine because you can dose it by the milliliter, and you can, in your drink, in your mouth.
So is tincture, let me see if I'm learning stuff along the way here as the newbie. Would tincture be in the same thing of going, you can have a joint, an edible, or a tincture? Like, would it be in, could you describe it that way? Like, is it a version of consuming?
So, flower, edible, tincture, topical, extract.
Okay.
Or concentrate.
Those are all the different ways.
Different types.
The different types.
Of different types of cannabis.
It's a tincture.
Yes.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right.
That's a good word. I just like saying it. Tincture. All right. Let's get to our guest, Stephen Stairs, who has been waiting patiently. We're very excited to have him on the show.
Yeah. Stephen's done a lot out where he is, and done a little bit in the politics. I know he's done a lot in the activism world, and I'm excited to hear about 420 and plans coming up because I heard a little bit about it, and I'm going to let him talk about it, hopefully with more stuff. And without further ado, let's bring in Stephen.
Hey, Stephen, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Timmy. How you doing?
Doing very well. Thanks so much for being on the show. I don't know much about you, only what I've heard from MJ, and I don't know which stuff is true and which is not. But from what I've heard, it sounds pretty awesome. So thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks a lot for having me, you two. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I met Stephen, I want to say through social media first.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here's a guy who's going through life, trying to make the best of it, and found, just like most of us, that cannabis is beneficial and it's helping him. And he wanted to be vocal about it. So I was like, I need to reach out to this person and, actually see what he's doing and how he's doing it and what can I do locally, because Stephen you're in Manitoba?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Winnipeg.
So after all that research and buildup of going, I really got to check, were you disappointed when you eventually connected and found him?
No.
No? Okay.
Absolutely not.
Right.
No.
Fair enough.
And even less so when I met him in person.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. So
Thanks, MJ.
now, Stephen, I don't know. I assume you might be aware just simply by the title of the show that she's the doobie, I'm the newbie. So I'm always very interested in how cannabis even became a part of your life, how you entered into the community. Have you always been involved in it? How did that journey begin?
Well, I have watched the show, so I get the premise. And honestly, your two banter is perfect. It's exactly what the internet needs right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, but it keeps me entertained. Hilarious. I was laughing a lot during your five high five things. Man, I've got beta clips, VHS, everything. Man, we could talk. Uh, and I don't have a beta player, so it's kind of sad, but
That's
whatever.
funny.
But no, I got into cannabis kind of on a whim, actually. I mean, I always used cannabis as a kid, well, not kid, but teenager in my adolescent years. Um, and then I didn't smoke cannabis for about 3 years. It was just a lifestyle thing. I wasn't doing it. And then I was at U of M and just starting my political science degree. And someone mentioned to me that I should get into medical cannabis. And that was in 2009. And I thought, well, that sounds cool. And then I did a little research on the paperwork and kind of parlayed it into a advocacy career at the U of M. And then, it snowballed into this first student group of its kind in the country at a post-secondary education institution for medical cannabis. And I rolled with it from there. And ever since then, I've gotten the medicinal benefits of cannabis, but also the social benefits of creating a dialogue regarding the change that needs to be encompassed with cannabis. And that's given me the passion that's driven me for the past 11 years to constantly fight for not only the needs of cannabis users, but cannabis itself and how we interpret it in society and how it's accepted. So,
So what do you use cannabis for, Stephen? Tell people, please.
oh yeah, this will get you. So, I am legally blind. I have a cane. It's a good time. MJ's seen me. I can trip over the best of things.
I thought he was just falling for me, but nope.
I thought he was just high. uh, nope. I was tripping, but a different kind. No, but I have three genetic eye diseases layered on top of each other. So I have something called glaucoma, which I'm sure most people are quintessentially familiar with regarding, the cliche, stereotypical cannabis jokes. It's good for glaucoma, right? It is. It really is. And I also have something called RP, which is retinosis pigmentosus for all you nerdy ocular people out there. But that's a scarring in my retinal tissue. Picture it as like a frayed extension cord wire from, your appliance to the wall. It still works, but it doesn't work properly. And then I also have cataracts on top of that.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I actually had my cataracts removed 2 years ago, which was fun because that was a trip in itself. Because you have to stay awake for it. Anyway, side story. But yeah, so I have had that early in my age, and the doctors told me the likelihood of, because of the youth age of my eyes and the likelihood of my long-lasting life, if I don't get hit by a car, is I could have cataract surgery more than 3 times, which is extremely rare for people. So it's interesting.
That's crazy.
This isn't cannabis related. We'll come back to cannabis in a second. But when I was a youth pastor, I had a kid in my program that was legally blind. I think he was a level 3. I think it was, if that was right. So he went to school for the blind. He was legally out. He needed a book with large print, that type of thing. You'd never be able to drive. And I actually went. He invited me to the school. I forget where the school was. Maybe out in Brantford, Ontario. And it was a fantastic experience, but there was this one game. I don't know if you ever went to a school for the blind or anything like that, but there was this game where everyone gets blindfolded because some people can kind of see, and they roll this ball with a bell towards the other side. Ball. There's 5 of them. And then everybody just has to decide whether to fall left or right and create this wall of person to block it from going in the net. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's there's different variations of that, but it's called goal ball.
Yes.
And they have some very intense versions of it. They have a fully blind version of it that's almost like rugby. It is. I mean, it
sounds dangerous.
Oh yeah, man! You see these blind people, and seeing these blind people is a funny pun already. But they have no stopping them. There's no, the inhibitions are gone. It's literally, I'm following that sound.
Yeah, yeah, and then they flop to the
Tense.
side, and there's no padding. It's like a solid floor, and they don't even hesitate. They're just like, there's the sound, and they fall to it was absolutely incredible. It was one of my favorite experiences being there. I'm glad you know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea, but I want to check it out.
You guys are ever in Winnipeg? We can come play it here. I know a group. It's good.
Sweet. Okay.
I would try that. Blindfold me. Sign me up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
See, I've always believed that you should try and experience somebody else's their perception. Like, I wanted to spend a day or two. I know there's no way from a day or two I would ever know what it would be like to be in a wheelchair, but to actually be in a wheelchair for 2 days and try and do life, because just going shopping or trying to get in the bathroom.
Yeah, I was just to say, try to get into a stall.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly why I tried cannabis, right? It was like, well, I got to live a day in the life of a cannabis user, and it ruined my bowling score, Stephen. So I will never try it again. My bowling score is way too important to me.
Yeah.
As a blind bowler, I'm actually pretty passionate about how high my score mine gets. So I feel you, Tim.
That's funny.
So did I hear this correctly as well? Whether it was through MJ or maybe you hinted at it. Politics, is that in your frame of work?
It's probably the making change, right? You want to make change, so.
Yeah, I learned at the University of Manitoba, taking political science, that in order to fix the problems, like I was originally in social work, okay? And I didn't like the idea, and this might sound kind of crude, but I didn't like the idea of having people complain to me about their problems. I wanted to fix the things in society that cause them to have those problems. And that's a systemic issue. That's a policy and framework issue that only comes from politics usually, right? Sometimes it comes from non-governmental organizations, but generally it's politics. So I figured, well, I don't really trust any of the politicians. They're all affluent people who've never struggled or had to pay a cell phone bill or worried about what's in their fridge. They're all these, I'm not going to lie, now it's changed a lot, but 20 years ago, that's all it was. It was basically affluent people who, white men who called the shots. And I figured it'd be smart to have a disabled person who maybe has had a hard time in life to actually know what it's like to be part of society and have things, be a chore, be a struggle, to be a real citizen of this country, not an overly privileged one. And those are the people we need in power in Ottawa making decisions. So I ran for the Green Party. In 2015, the year Trudeau came into power, I ran for MP that year in Winnipeg. And then the following year in 2016, because I didn't get elected, clearly, I ran in 2016 for MLA. So.
Wow. So I could have been a politician back in the day because I didn't pay my phone bills either.
Well, there's still time. You could still be a politician.
I just find it so much easier just to open up an account
is a
with another
politician.
company. Yeah.
There's a chance.
So what is the battle in the legality of cannabis? Obviously, Canada is legal now, but what I'm finding, coming in from having no knowledge really, is that legal cannabis still comes with a lot of things that kind of are causing kind of people going like
regulations.
How legal? Yeah, okay, how legal is this?
Do you remember I told you Stephen lives in the only province in Canada that does not allow home growing, even though Canada has said you are allowed to grow at home.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at, is that so having a political mindset and being in that in a province that is doing that. How are you going about making the change in that? Is it a hard fight still? Like, some people think the battle's over because legalization happened, but apparently the battle's not over.
No, I mean, that's a great point, is that legalization, all it did was just cause the fight to have a different battlefield. I mean, in my advocacy, I've always been a proud, proponent of the idea that you need to know when to hold up a protest sign and you need to know when to sit around a board table. And if you can do both of those, you will be a successful cannabis advocate, or any advocate for that matter. But I mean, if you talk about the serious systemic changes that need to be made in Manitoba, Mary Jane touched on it. I mean, well, technically Quebec has a ban on it too, but that was ruled unconstitutional. The province is appealing it, but the appeals court is most likely to uphold the decision because it's a constitutional thing. So Quebec is pretty much taken care of. Manitoba, with our ban, it has a provincial constitutional challenge here started by a guy named Jesse.
Good.
However, the constitutional challenge thing is such a slow process.
And costly process too.
It's a costly process, but I mean, luckily he's had a lawyer who's kind of helped him out. And, you know, the thing is that, you know, if it's ruled unconstitutional, the court costs are put on the government. So, I mean, because Jesse would technically win the challenge, therefore all his costs get reimbursed.
Yeah.
So there's no cost to him. So all he has to do is pay his lawyer, which the lawyer generally at that rate, you know, they're like, okay, cool, you know, we're going to win this case.
But that's the sad thing, Stephen, is that somebody has to, like, they had to get in trouble first, right? And then they had to get a lawyer.
No, but hang on. That's the thing, is that no one got in trouble. So because I'm me and I like to do my research on things, even the people who seem like they're doing good, I always do my diligence. So I actually was just about to do an Instagram video today. I finally got a police report back from Winnipeg Police. There have been no charges in the past 2 years for people growing cultivation or cultivation charges. The only charges that Winnipeg Police and RCMP have laid in this province are driving offenses. None of them have been possession. None of them have been cultivation. Yeah. So what I'm saying is no one got in trouble to have the challenge.
If they are growing, the police are just saying, you know, it's not worth our time.
So the police don't want to have it make their time. They're the ones who enforce it. And even if they do enforce it, it's a $2,000 fine, which sounds like a lot. But as soon as you present that fine to the courts, there's two options you can do. You can say, one, I want to challenge this. And what they'll do is they'll say, okay, because the constitutional challenge is already in place on the ban, the provincial courts in the criminal code will then put your case on hold, or they'll stay the proceedings until that challenge is dealt with, because they can't move forward on yours when there's a challenge up already. Right?
It's got to lay precedence.
Right. So basically everybody right now, and this is what I've been doing outside of that political how you change the law thing, I've been telling people to grow. Don't go another year. Don't miss another season. Just start growing, because for years and years and years, the way we created change with cannabis law was we smoked weed in public to break the law as a civil disobedience showing of these laws that need to change. So, like, federally, everyone else in the country knows already, I can grow my weed. So why Manitobans would just not, based on some law that we know is invalid, it gives into the fear. Do you know what I'm saying? We are being subservient to a law that is unjust. So we must grow weed. And someone, like I'm saying, no one's already got in trouble for it. So someone gets a fine, puts it on hold, makes it on the news story, cops will never touch it again. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is we should not be growing. We should all be growing our 4 plants proudly. And if someone wants to take it on the chin, great. But I don't think cops care, because I've already asked.
So basically, don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
And don't say anything. Rule number 1, don't say anything. But you are just plead, you know, that you want to wait. But I like that Stephen said civil disobedience, because that's what 420 was in the beginning, right? It was like a celebration, but also civil disobedience. We had the police surrounding the whole block or the whole area, and they never stepped into the area. They just made sure that no trouble happened. And at least that's how it was in Toronto. They kind of kept us confined in the square, right?
Yeah. In 2018, actually, when we had a meeting with the city, the police actually thanked us for organizing 420 because they stopped coming.
And see, that was in 2018. So what's happening now? What's the big change? Like, what do you think?
So,
I know they didn't say anything.
Well, they didn't say anything, but I have a feeling this is just a bureaucratic paperwork thing. So I don't know if your audience knows, but basically Winnipeg 420 had plans to have our, 420 after pandemic event like we normally would. We've been planning for years at the same location we've always had it. It's been discussions with city, provincial, police officials that was our goal. So I just been curious. It's 10 months away from 420. This is the time as the organizer I've got to start thinking about next year, which is weird. But the province gave me back an email kind of randomly that just said, nope, sorry. And I think it was because there was some people that kind of changed positions. This lady I'd been dealing with for like 25 years, she had been there. she's retired and someone else took over for her job. And I honestly think that the solution will fix itself. But at the same time, I mean, I live in a province where there's a ban on homegrown cannabis. So, I mean, my optimism is only, so rational to the point where I'm, I have to come up with backup plans to have a different location for 420. But it's going to be really neat this year. Concert, cannabis sales, consumption, it'll be sweet. Camping.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Vancouver had some trouble a couple of years ago with they didn't want it on the beach or whatever. They wanted them to move the location, and people are like, it's been here for years and it's never been a problem. And then they just went there. But in Toronto, I don't know if people know, we had Yonge and Dundas Square, and then they moved us to, or we decided we were going to go to City Hall. And that was a huge problem with the city. They did not want a bunch of stoners around the big Toronto, was it Nathan Phillips Square or whatever, City Hall? They were like, no, we don't want you here. And they had a lot of police presence, and they had never shut down people selling bongs or anything like that before. And they shut down everybody that year. Everybody. And they walked right through the square. And the next year, we ended up in Woodbine Park. And that was where I took you for the first time.
Yep.
And I bought you a rain suit because you don't believe in protecting yourself from rain.
Right.
And
exactly.
I brought a tent.
Way
and
to
I brought
tie in
chairs,
the theme with.
And I brought a rain suit and rubber boots. And he was sitting there for 3 hours, 4 hours, and was like, so this is what it's like to be comfortable in the rain.
It's true. It's true. The cannabis culture technically taught me how to camp.
You know what? We try and think of everything. We look at every aspect, every side, and we plan our days. Or is this just me? Steven, do you I'm going to the beach. I know what I need to get.
100%. 100%. It's like a methodical. It's because when you smoke weed, it creates new waves of thinking in your brain. So therefore, you think, all right, what do I need to pack?
Yeah.
All right, that's a good idea. And you start, packing stuff, and next thing you know, you're like, I could bring that too. Oh, that's a good idea. And then you pack stuff.
And then by then it's dark outside, and you forgot to go to the beach.
No.
By then you just got ash in all your stuff you've packed.
That's funny. It's not like the song, I was gonna go to work, but then I got high.
Well, you've encouraged me already to into this civil disobedience thing. In Toronto, I'm actually, maybe next weekend, I'm going to go drag a dead horse down the street. Apparently, you can still go to jail for that.
Sunday, if it's on Sunday.
On a Sunday. So I'm actually going to do that. Yeah, Yonge Street on Sunday in Toronto.
Yes.
Drag a dead horse down. And I don't think that's
illegal.
A legit rule. I'm going to try that.
Yep. But I think it's a $10 fine.
Maybe I won't try that then.
No you got $10.
That's not worth it. So what do you think is going to be the impetus to change that particular setup in Manitoba that is still kind of causing this problem? What is going to cause that to happen? Just more civil disobedience?
Well, I think the old adage of grassroots cannabis advocacy needs to come back in full force. With legalization, society basically fell off the map regarding their interest in cannabis. Oh, cool, I can buy it, great. But all the nuances of legalization and where it can be sold and all those kinds of things are only cared about by the people who really cared about cannabis, the real advocates. And unfortunately, those are very far and few between. So it's almost like after legalization, the hardcores out there are at a point where we need to create another group of people in this after legalization society who are just as passionate, who realize, oh yeah, we still got a lot of work to do. And that's where that change will come from, where it's not only just business owners who are being involved, it's users, cannabis users, that sounded bad. It's everybody who's part of that society being part of the change, rather than it just being the one or two really loud people who it was before. Those might be the drivers and the impetus, like you're saying, but it needs to come from society as a whole. And I think with legalization, we've gotten past that hurdle. Now it's more of an education thing, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, I just want to add that I've done a little bit of like researching and learning on the back end through like a cannabis course that I took and speaking to a few like legal LPs and stuff and like researchers, whatever. And they're saying that they're looking at changing regulations for smarter, better, coherent sales and research. And they're looking at having like education centers that are actually able to give people information, because the problem that people are finding as bud tenders in the retail position is you're having people come in and ask for medical advice. And in the recreational aspect of it, you cannot speak to the medical benefits. And as we've said many times, if you experience a medical benefit from cannabis, it's dependent on you. Not everybody is meant to have cannabis. Not everybody gets a beneficial experience. Some people have negative experiences. And I mean, it is what it is. It's a plant. And this is why we're here talking about it, right?
It's a plant.
It's a plant.
100%.
Okay, so with all the nuances that might be available, let me just ask you this question. True or false? Cannabis is legal in Canada.
True.
Okay.
With regulations. But anything that is legal has regulations.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I know.
So
It's interesting though, because I think just in the conversations that I've had, people within the industry and without, like some people, okay, so coming from the world that I came from, a lot of people feared the legalization of cannabis because they thought it was now going to be just the Wild West.
that's because you say you people.
Yeah.
I got to mention that after. That's like because most people stereotype. So there is a cannabis store that is opening up in Timmy's town, right underneath where Timmy lives. And his son seen the store and was like,
I didn't open
his son seen the store and did this little, right. And he's like 18, has no interest in cannabis or drinking or, he's a very level-headed kid. And I say kid, but he's a grown-up. But anyways, so we were having a conversation the other day and I was talking about getting Invisalign braces. And he said, well, I don't know if that's good for someone like you. And I was like, someone like me? What does that mean? Mm-hmm. And he said, well, because you like the munchies. And I laughed because he just assumed that because I smoke cannabis, and it's natural, right? What do we see in every stoner culture movie or I've ever heard? Stoners get the munchies, right? Mm-hmm. Man, I've smoked weed for the majority of my life. There is no way that I haven't figured out how to quash the munchies and still look like this. Just saying. This is not just all chocolate and chips and donuts and like when I snack, honestly, I snack, I have carrots and hummus.
That was a really good point, MJ.
Well,
it was funny that like that's the thing. Non-cannabis consumers.
You can look forward to that clip on Instagram. That is a soundbite.
I am more looking forward to the conversation with your son. How dare you? Wait, are we going to have time to play a game of Noobie or Doobie?
I want to do this for sure.
Okay.
Stephen, are you willing to play a game with us that we call Noobie or Doobie?
So it's pretty simple. I'm sure you know it. You're going to choose either the Noobie or the Doobie.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Some people have done this game better than others. We're going to see
Kelly
where you rank.
Green
Kelly
did amazing. So
I love Kelly.
Right?
How can you not love Kelly?
I know. She is like a ball of energy that I feel like this. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of really cheery people, but she brings a cheer that you couldn't bottle that stuff.
She is a rainbow into my heart.
Right?
Like, legit.
That was a good expression.
There's nothing that like every time I turn into Orono and I turn onto Main Street, I get this intense feeling of, oh my God, Kelly.
Oh my God. See, she's infectious. I love it.
She is.
Well,
The kind of infectious we want right now.
Okay, so you're up against Kelly.
I love the fact that we have one guest on and everyone's talking about the other guest we had on.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
When you're so into the community and you know you're a good person, you know good people, and how many times have our guests said, "Oh yeah, I love this person," and it's a past guest.
Yeah. They're awesome.
Yeah.
It is one of the positives of the community for sure. All right, here we go. We're going to play Noobie or Doobie with Steven Stairs. Who is most likely to misplace their car keys?
The newbie.
No, I am most likely to lose my car. I can never find where I parked my car.
That's true.
Really?
But MJ loses her car keys all the time. Mine are always in the place.
Dude, where's my car? What's funny is we drove to the hotel last night and we're standing there checking in and Timmy's like, "What's the license plate number?" And I'm like, "I don't remember." And then he's like, "What's the make of the car?" And then I start telling him his vehicle and he looks at me, he's like, "We drove your car." And I looked at him and was like, "Oh," he's like, "You drove." I was like,
You drove
"Oh
your
my
car.
God, I forgot." And I didn't even smoke before we left. It was late.
It was late.
It's never the weed anyways.
No, never it is. So I might lose my car. She loses the car keys, except for last night. That was a different thing.
That was weird.
Good to know.
Okay, number 2. Who is most likely to disappear and never return?
Disappear and never return.
Yeah, I know these are deep questions that most people don't ask. Newbie or doobie?
I've got to say MJ.
No, I could go nowhere.
Really?
I love people way too much.
Oh, the
That's what I
moment
figured. But I
the
figured
moment
he
this
has a kid.
podcast generates enough cash that I have enough to sustain myself, I am
he's
out of
gone.
here. I might still do the podcast, but it will be from a remote location, probably a beach place, and I will never come back to society. Never.
And you will see me at every event.
So
I know that, but I really figured the kid was his anchor. You know, but I guess his kid's 18. He can screw off. It's all good.
yeah, no.
Stephen, I have 2 kids. I have I have an 11 and a 16-year-old.
The 18 thing I figured would be like the grown up. I mean, 16-year-olds are their own independent kid already. My 11-year-old didn't want to have anything to do with me.
He figures that's why your 18-year-old's still at home.
My
Now I really get to
18-year-old
look
knows-
forward to that conversation.
Yeah, he's at home.
I'm really bad at this game.
All right, so 0 for 2. Kelly was already 2-0 at this point.
That's funny.
Here we go. Who would be the first to die in a zombie apocalypse? Newbie or newbie?
Yeah.
Right? These
Well,
are
I want
mind-bending.
I want to say MJ then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be me.
Yeah.
I'm not
yeah.
running anywhere.
MJ absolutely would
I
be
just figured you're so nice, you'd like offer the zombie like a joint. Be like, "We
No,
talk
do you-
about this?"
Honestly, you know what the problem is? I don't see anything other than people. I see people. Doesn't matter if you're,
you don't see gray.
black, white, what color you are, what gender you are. I just see people. So I would look at a zombie and be like, "Oh, did you want a light?"
Yeah, that's the vibe I got. That's
Yeah.
the vibe I got.
Yes.
Well, and I love comedy so much that if I saw zombies coming towards us, I would run and push MJ to the ground because those scenes in movies make me laugh so hard.
That's true. Or when adults like make
When
a
they push-
kid cry.
When they push children.
You like when kids cry.
Like that scene in Billy Madison where he's throwing the dodgeball balls at the kids.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Funny every time. Here we
I
go.
was thinking Steinfeld when George pushes
Yes,
all those
with George,
people in the
right?
fire.
It's
Yeah.
always funny.
That's
So
what
I would push her to the ground for humor's sake, and then find out like, oh, wait a minute, oh, that was a bad idea. But by then it'd be too late. So then it's just save yourself, Timmy.
That's funny.
Here we go. You're 1 for 2. 2 questions to go. Most likely to fake their own death. Who's most likely to fake their own death?
You.
Yeah.
Newbie.
Yeah, that kind of sets up with the never return thing.
Yeah, you actually want to have your own funeral, though.
Yeah, I'm actually going to set up a fake death that's public. I'm going to tell everybody about it, bring everybody in, get people to write their statements of how much they love me, because I won't be there when it actually happens. So I want to do this whole thing. So I'll invite you now that you've been a guest on the show.
See, I just suggested we should do it for his birthday. And then, we'll have the coffin there, and everybody will know it's his birthday, but you must show up in black, and you must be sad.
Yeah. People think that's kind of morbid, but I don't know. I think it's good planning. We talked about planning earlier. I think I want to make sure that it's all done right?
Yep.
Good planning.
So 2 for 2. Here we go. Last one. Noobie or Doobie, who is most likely to look best in a kilt?
Oh.
Have you seen my legs?
No. I'm intrigued now.
Right? So you would think this would be an easy one.
Well, I think it would be an easy one. I want to say MJ.
Right?
But I'm going to go with Doobie.
Me?
He's going with Doobie.
Is it me?
Yeah.
It's me.
He picked you.
Okay.
No, is that the answer?
I don't think that's the answer.
Oh.
I have these yoga legs that are outstanding, quite frankly. I'm a little bit.
Well, what does the card say?
Well, the card says it's me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
But then again, I wrote those cards, so maybe we just need to get a kilt and take a photo.
See,
that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get a kilt.
Side by side, yeah. Put it up online.
Okay.
Definitely.
So based on the card, you got that wrong. So you were only 2 out of 5. Although, quite frankly,
we're still undecided on the last one. We need to.
Okay, well maybe we'll put up a picture of both of us in a kilt, and people can vote on that. But
Stephen, I hope my sensibility comes in.
Stephen, I want to thank you for.
I'm blind, but I'm not that blind.
Okay, well, we'll make sure it's a picture you'll be able to be able to see and enjoy. We do want to thank you for being on the show, though. I want to thank you for all the insight you've done. Just I don't think we've had anybody really go into the some of the political and legal angle in terms of our guests, and so we appreciate that, and we hope you continue. Maybe you'll be elected one day as Prime Minister.
I would love that. I need a cabinet, so keep your ears open, all right?
Okay, all right.
Do you have a preference in type of wood?
Mahogany.
Mahogany, okay.
Every once in a while, she tries to pretend she's the comedian, but very well done today. Very well done.
Thank you. Well, thank you for coming, Stephen. It was fun, for sure.
Oh, I love you, MJ. Timmy, you're the best. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. And you guys, your clips, your shows, keep me entertained the whole time. Seriously.
Thank you so much. Well, We'll put some links so people can find you in our descriptions, and hopefully that brings the people your way as well. So thanks so much for spending time with us.
No problem. Thanks for having me, too.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. Well, we can announce right here that we have had the future Prime Minister of Canada on the Noobie and Doobie podcast. You heard it here first, folks.
It's official.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I've never had a future Prime Minister on the show.
I've never been to the future.
Well, I remember struggling when I was human that I would always be concerned about I would never be able to get to the future. But those days are past.
Are you going to tell me that time is not a linear thing? We just perceive it as such?
I'm not actually at liberty to tell you any of that. So.
Oh, okay.
Let's just wrap it up because now this is getting
on
awkward.
That note, I'm Mary Jane Baker.
Is that that's how we're literally going to do it?
Sure. I'm Mary Jane Baker.
Hold on. No, I think I start.
Sure.
All right, here we go.
Go ahead.
Episode 12. So this is funny.
You can go first.
Just for our flat out endings, this is like take 12. Like we haven't hit an ending yet. So this is like take 12.
And it's still already messed up.
And it's already not a good. So take 5.
When I said I'm Mary Jane Baker, I was trying to get you to finish. So you start.
Let me just say this. There is still a lot of work.
With this I close.
There is still a lot of work to be done. That's what I'm finding.
Yes. Not just in the cannabis space, but in the studio as well.
Yes, that legalization did not stop the work. that need to get done. And what we're
That's
finding
correct.
too, and because I'll put it out here because I think it attaches to this particular thing as we get ready to close. We have been seeing, we have been posting stuff online, and our stuff isn't even like the stuff we put online. We try not to even mention cannabis too much in it because the social media spaces still aren't comfortable with it. So just because legalization happened didn't mean that the work is done.
Imagine being a legal retail establishment and not being able to advertise like that.
Right?
Like, I don't understand how it's even possible that a bus can have an advertisement for a beer, but a cannabis company cannot. I'll get into that another day.
Yeah. Well,
But anyways, are we
Yeah.
good? I need a
let's
smoke
close.
break.
I'm Timmy,
I'm MJ. Stay lifted.
and keep on laughing.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This broadcasting group here at CBG